So this is Jay Hughes with Press On, and I am really excited to have as my guest today Kelli Cowell. And Kelli is the Regional Account Manager at Essent Guarantee. And Kelli has an extensive background in MI, sales in general, lending, and management. She currently manages a team of 4 account executives in the Pacific Northwest, and their territory is doing really well, and they're experiencing a ton of growth due to the efforts of Kelli and her whole team. And some personal things about Kelli: she is married to her husband Randy. He's in the business as well, and they have 2 daughters. They live in Spokane, Washington. And Kelli, you and I have known each other for probably 12 years or so now, and I know I've loved working with you both in a business-to-business relationship, and also we've done some one-on-one coaching together as well. And so just want to say thank you so much for taking some time to kind of visit with me today.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. So so today, obviously, I just wanted to kind of pick your brain and visit with you about some things that have worked well for you in business. And so the first question I wanted to ask you is just what's been the biggest help for you regarding your own personal productivity? And so, what's helped you produce more given all the tasks and all the responsibilities that you have going on in a daily basis? What really helps you with regards to productivity?
Okay, so I guess first and foremost is just the pre-planning in my call patterns.
Okay.
I think about what's the most potential for my business. So those are the accounts that I'm going to get hit first. So they're the accounts I'm going to hit at the beginning of the month, the beginning of the week, the beginning of the day, and I'm going to make those appointments first. I think a lot of people in our industry will do drop-ins, and I think, dropping in on a customer, that's okay every once in a while. But for me and my team, when we're meeting with the management or team leads, we really have to respect their time and let them know if we don't have an appointment, we definitely have to let them know we're coming by. So it doesn't matter how big or how small that account is, we really have to respect their time. I think that's important. I always, just as part of my planning, my call pattern, I keep track of every call. So, a lot of places have systems for that. My company actually has their own system as well, but I kind of do my own thing. But what I do every time I make a call is I keep track of the date that I saw them last, what we talked about, anything that I left behind, and then after that, it's really the follow-up. So, everybody says follow-up kind of loosely. I'm very specific about the follow-up. I think that's a really important part that a lot of people miss. And when I say follow-up, I mean an email, a note, just thanking them for taking time out of their busy day. And then after that, it's just actual action plans, right? What do we talk about? What do I still have to do on my end that I promised? Whether for us in the MI world, it's setting up with access to order, or getting back to them on the article that we talked about, or getting a terms and conditions letter out, but really just getting back to them with whatever we said we were going to do. And then I take it one step further, and I put that call, my customer call, on my calendar in the future. So I put that where I'm going to reach out to them next. And that way I know nothing's falling through the cracks, because I've already done all of my follow-up, and I'm not going to move that, that time block or that account, and I'm not going to move that from that date to the next date until I know I've followed everything up. But I guess really, and the basics, Jay, returning phone calls and emails as soon as possible, which everybody knows, but a lot of times, we're in the field. For us, we're in the field all day. It's hard to get back to people, but you have to anyways. And if you're in the field all day, put your out of office on. You're not out of office, you're still working that day, but if you have your out of office on, explaining, to a customer, if they email you or they call you, that you're out and about and you're going to get right back to them, I think that helps as well. And I think just, again, at the end of the day, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being consistent with all of that. And then I had this business coach once upon a time that told me 10 minutes of prep work saves hours of busy work later. So it's the prep work, but most importantly, just showing up. And 80% of it's just showing up.
Yeah. So some excellent points there. I loved what you said. It's not that you do anything special, but you are like hyper consistent with regards to all of these disciplines. So a quick follow-up question would just be like, how long did this take for you to develop kind of this system for you? You've talked about, it's kind of like you have we're talking about a morning routine, because you have your planning, you're prioritizing, you're setting up your day, you're you've got your follow-up that's built in, and then you don't let things, slide through the cracks. You're immediately putting the next appointment in your calendar system so that, they're going to get another touch. You're doing follow-up with handwritten notes. How long did this take for you to kind of make this a habit?
That's a great question. It's evolved over the years. I've been doing mortgage insurance for close to 15 years, and then an originator before that. But it kind of evolved over time. There's a book too that I've loved, that I've listened to. It's called Get Things Done by David Allen, and that helps kind of tweak some of those as well. But it's, every time you get an expanded territory or another person on the team, it definitely evolves, and that's where the time blocking and everything comes into play, to just kind of reset and make sure that, again, you aren't missing anything. But if you just get kind of a fundamentals down, you can tweak it as you go along.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so I know for a fact that there's going to be quite a few people that are going to be listening to this interview, and they're going to relate to you because they're also in similar positions where, most likely we're going to be talking about managers in the mortgage world, maybe in the real estate world, where they are responsible for their own personal production. But they're also managing people, and I know you have been in that kind of dual role for quite a while, and it's tough. I've always said I think that's one of the toughest jobs in any kind of sales industry, because selling something is very different than managing people that are selling something. So for you, how do you divide your time so you can be successful in both of those roles? What do you do in order to be successful in those?
Again, back to pre-planning and organization. So I do time blocks. So I'll block out time on my calendar to do specific tasks for myself. So whether it's getting back to customers or getting back to my team members, getting back to my, what I need to get back to for my senior management team. It's not about finding time. I make the time and prioritize that based on, what to do when and how important that is. Another trick that I've learned over the years is just to take yourself offline when you do need to get the project done. It sounds so simple, but if you're online with your Outlook and it's pinging you, you're going to get sidetracked. So I'll just work offline. There'll be a bunch of emails in my outbox, and then I'll reconnect later, but I won't reconnect until that's all completed. And then over the years, I have come to understand that I am never going to get everything done and off my list at the end of the day. So I just, again, similar to where I'm moving my customer appointments to a different day, I'm going to finding time and time blocking it when I don't get it done that day, whatever it is, whether it's managing my team or taking care of my own personal accounts. And, it is, Jay, it's super stressful to manage and produce, but honestly, I think at the end of the day, it makes me a better manager when I have to not just talk the talk with my team, but I'm in the trenches with them. I feel their pain points. They don't have to tell me about their pain points because I'm hearing from the customers as well. And then I think when I'm managing my team, I'm thinking of it more as coaching or mentoring my team, because we're all kind of in this together, and I'm more or less the team lead. But I learn from my team and my people every single day. I've got great girls on my team, and again, I learn from them every day. So I think that helps with my production side. And then maybe on the production side definitely helps me with my team and managing them as well. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, very, very well said. So one quick follow-up on that, because we have, like, you and I have talked about this topic before of like going offline, getting into power mode. This is something that I help coach people through all the time. And it sounds so simple, but it's also hard. People have such a hard time like shutting things down. So for you personally, like when you say you go offline, what does that specifically look like for you? Do you turn your computer off? Does the phone go off? Like how specific do you get in shutting things down?
Well, I need my computer on since I'm usually working in Outlook or working on a Word document or something like that. So I will take my out of office. I will take my Outlook offline when I have an out of office email that goes out. And then I do turn my phone on silent, and again have an out of office on my phone if I'm going to be gone an hour or two. Even though I'm actually in my office working, my out of office messages are going out until I can get what I need to get done, and then pop back in and return those. Sometimes I'll set a timer even. Say, okay, for the next hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to be working on this. And when it's off, I'll double check with everything, make sure, there aren't any crazy fires that I need to take care of.
Yep.
But essentially just working through until you get it done, and then and giving, I guess, most importantly, giving yourself permission to do that.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and we feel pressure to respond to the, what's urgent, and that inbox keeps calling. And you do. I think you said that dead on. I mean, you have to give yourself permission and know that, look, there's going to be fires. That's the business I'm in. That's the industry I'm in. Can't control that. Like
Right.
those problems are going to be there when I get back online. So, really, really well said. Thank you. So Kelly, and we've talked about this before as well. One of the things I have always admired about you, I've told mutual contacts that we have, peers in the industry about you. And I say, Kelly knows how to sell. She is a terrific salesperson, but she does it in the context of a relationship. And when you and I first met, you didn't come into my office and say, hey, I want all your MI business. You immediately worked to like start building rapport with me, start building a relationship. And that's what I coach and teach on. So for you, I'm just curious, what do you see as the keys for building a relationship with a client where you're starting at zero? Because there's going to be loan officers on today's call that are thinking, gosh, I need to go out. There's realtors that I need to meet. I don't know these people at all. How do I build a relationship? So how do you kind of think through that with a potential customer?
I love this question, and you hit the nail on the head. I never sell from the point of sales. I think the most important thing is just to be genuine and authentic, because if you're
Mm-hmm.
not genuine and authentic, everyone's going to see right through that. I hate to be sold anything. I hate being sold a car or appliances or clothes, anything. I never want somebody to sell me anything. So I feel the same way when I'm on board, even though sales is my business, I guess, industry. I don't think of myself as selling. And I think I'm in a very unique position at Essent, because we're not looking to partner with just everybody. With our master policy, we intend to pay our claims, and when we look at partners that we're bringing on board, we really have to vet them and trust their manufacturing process and know that what Essent brings to the table is going to meet their needs. So really what I'm doing the first few times I'm actually meeting with customers is I'm actually, I guess, maybe even courting them. We're trying to figure each other out. Are either of us going to be good partners for each other? And it's just really, asking those questions, getting to know what their business looks like, and, taking notes and keeping that all in your mind, because you're not going to make that sale, the sale, the first time you walk in the door. It's really not going to happen. If it does happen, you're lucky, and maybe there was something wrong with their previous business partners, or maybe it's just that easy, and that's not going to be a great loyal customer for you either. So, as we kind of keep going through, that's where the consistency comes in again. So
Mm-hmm.
I keep meeting with them, I keep asking the questions, I keep assessing their needs, and in my heart, I know that Essence the best contract for them. I know that we have the best counterparty strength. I know that we have competitive pricing and products and the best customer service in the industry. So I know that, and that gives me the confidence to stay the course and just continue to reach out, and then share what any significant industry information I have. But I've been calling on some accounts, some prospects for over 4 years, and that's when I know most people will have given up. But I think that that's just my job, to continue to get in front of them until they realize, okay, you're right, Essent is the right partner for me. And I think again, a lot of people will just give up on that, and maybe you're not as confident, with your company, or maybe you're just not as confident with yourself. But I think you have to own that first, is have the confidence with what you're representing, and then not to give up. Because another thing happens is you never know in my industry when there's going to be a merger, or something's going to be sold, or there's going to be new management, or if it's a loan officer talking to a realtor, you never know when somebody else is going to upset them. And if you haven't been the one that's reaching out to them consistently, they're not going to remember who you are, and they're going to move on to the next one.
Oh,
And
that is gold, Kelly. Keep going, keep going. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, this is going to sound silly, but I say it all the time. I'm really fortunate to have um, this position, because over the years my customers do become my friends, and it's a fun industry because of that. And I would say the same thing with a lot of originators out there, especially some of the best originators, the ones that have those incredible realtor relationships. They truly become friends with the people that they're working with, and I think that's why we're all fortunate to be in this industry.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's I think that again, that's kind of the hallmark that you have always led with. And boy, if you are listening right now, I pay attention to what Kelly said regarding not giving up. I mean, to say there's accounts you've been calling on for multiple years, 2, 3, 4 years, and you still see them as a prospect, you're not giving up. That is the type of persistence that originators and MI reps and title reps and realtors, we all need that. It's that I am not going to give up. And I loved your point, Kelly. Like, if you believe in yourself and you believe in your company, then it's easy to not give up. And if you don't believe in those, and you've got to own that yourself. It's, otherwise it is so easy for people to just throw in the towel and not want to pursue that relationship. So anyway, very, very well said. A quick follow up on that would be, you said you're really consistent in your follow up, and I know you, like, I know you do believe in Essent. You believe you've got the best pricing and the best customer service, but you don't lead with that. You don't come in just like guns blazing, telling everybody, especially the first few times you're talking to them, here's Essent, here's what we're all about. You're not leading with that. I think you gave us a hint. You said you ask a lot of questions, and I'm just curious if you could expand on that a little bit. What do you go in and start talking about? If you're not talking about you, you're not talking about Essent, what are you doing?
Well, talking about their pain points, what keeps them up at night, what their typical day looks like. And I think just over the years too, if you have I kind of have a list of questions that it's not even written down or anything, it's what you have in your head. So I think if you're a new LO, it's something you could really like write down, like maybe match up what your products are that could fit any realtor needs, and then ask questions that lead to those needs and just keep track of it. Just some basic stuff for my world and my industry is, find out who their investors are, what their pain points are, and as I hear all of those answers, I know I can match that up with the products or the pricing or something that we have that will benefit them. So it's really just assessing their needs over and over again. A lot of times, even though I'm so confident with Essent and what we have, I know that we're going to be great partners, and they still might not see that yet. And so at that point, I guess that's where selling comes in, as opposed, how I don't like to be sold. Maybe it's just helping them understand that we really do have products that can fit their needs. And I think the originators are going to run into that same kind of a concept with the realtors. They might not think that they need you, but if you're confident in yourself and your company, they really do need you. So it's just asking the right questions to lead them down that path to where they do really understand that you guys are going to be great partners.
No, that's it. Assessing their needs, put that spotlight on them, and build the relationship. I love it. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit because, again, I know there's going to be people that will relate to, a lot of people, in that you're in this leadership role at Essent. You're also producing, but you have a just like everybody else listening today to today's call. You've got a personal life as well. I mean, you're a wife, you're a mom, you got 2 beautiful daughters. Just maybe share a few of the, maybe the struggles, some victories that you've had in the last few years in balancing these two kind of big areas of your life.
Sure. Add soccer coach to that too, because
and soccer coach.
Crazy. I think, honest to goodness, Jay, it's my support system. I mean, it takes a village, right? It takes a village for all of it. So I've got a great support system at Essent and a great team, but I have an amazing husband, incredible parents, good neighbors and friends and teachers. Staying positive, because it's a crazy world. It's a crazy home life. It's a crazy industry. You just have to stay positive, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, on both sides, business side and your home life. Many a times I've had to text my neighbor and say, "Hey, running late. Can the girls chill with you?" And they, we do the same thing for them. Our neighbors are outside sales as well. They get it, and it goes both ways. But I think one of the things I hear all the time, Jay, I think you've asked me this over the years too, but people ask me all the time, if I travel so much, does it ever get to me? Does it ever get to my family? And you helped me with this a long time ago when we were coaching together. I've really, I plan my travel schedule now. That helps me immensely. I try not to travel on Tuesday, or only travel on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, if at all possible, if I'm scheduling my own travel. Obviously there's conferences and other things that I don't have control over. But if you're traveling and you're hitting the airports on Mondays and Fridays, you're running into not just business travelers, but weekend travelers as well. So that helps, and it also helps kind of protect my weekend. I can ease into my week if I'm not traveling on a Monday, and ease out of my week if I'm not traveling on a Friday. So again, I guess just the pre-planning and the consistency help balance the two. And then on the positive side, and the way that I work through, of course, the working mom guilt, is I try to look on the bright side of everything. Again, if I'm in another Hampton Inn, somewhere in the Northwest, Missoula, Boise, wherever I'm at, I think of those as my little, like my mini mom vacations and my mini hubby vacations. And I think I'm not doing any dishes tonight. I'm not doing baths tonight. I don't have to help with homework tonight, and just always try to look at the positive instead of, the boohoo, I'm away from home again.
Right.
And I will tell you that I also have become obsessed with Audible. And so I listen to books on airplanes, in cars, in rush hour, and anytime that I'm, on the road. Sometimes they're self-help books, sometimes they're work-related, sometimes, it's a classic or just a funny one, but it does take kind of the boring out of it, or it'll take the stress out of it, and I think that helps with the work-life balance piece of it too, or that's at least a trick that I've used for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think to your, back to what you said about your travel plans, I mean, I can vouch for you. That was something that was hard for you, but you did such a good job of setting up personal boundaries, and saying, look, like, I am going to protect this time. I'm going to protect the time with my husband and my kids. And so I'm not going to travel on Monday and Friday, and I'm just going to focus on these other days. And that's a huge deal. Whether if you're a loan officer, a realtor, maybe you don't have travel, but maybe there are other areas of your business that are encroaching on your personal life. You got to set deadlines. Hey, I'm out of the office at 5 o'clock. These problems will be here when I get back tomorrow. And I think you've really have done a great job with that. And it's paying dividends in both your personal and your business life.
No, for sure. Absolutely. Made a huge difference.
So I know, I mean, you and I both have been in the business a long time. You've worked with hundreds, probably thousands of different loan officers, originators over the years. Maybe just take a couple minutes. I'd love to hear your perspective on what you see as kind of some of the characteristics and traits of top performers, top producers. When you look at them, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that top performers seem to have in common that you've noticed?
Okay, this is great. I think first and foremost, they know their stuff, right? I mean, they have to know all the programs. They have to know their borrowers' options. I do listen to coaches. I know you have a coaching plan on a niche product too, and that's not what I'm talking about. Definitely everybody just has to have a niche, but you really need to understand everything that you have in your toolbox and understand it well to give those different options. I think one example that pops out in my head is FHA. So when conventional guidelines tightened, that definitely became the go-to product. And even though I am an MI girl, I know that definitely served a purpose, and a very important purpose in the industry for many years. But I think a lot of loan officers are still looking at that as the go-to product and not giving their borrowers different options that could clearly be better for them. So that's kind of understanding all of it and just really working them into the right program. The second thing is, again, getting organized. The best of the best, they are organized, Jay. They're not running around like chickens with their heads off. They're not. They're always setting up the expectations with the borrower and their realtors up front. They're communicating throughout that process. They're staying calm throughout that process. And I think when you're organized and setting expectations and over-communicating, there's no need for stress or rushes. And I think that the people that they're working with, the realtors that they're working with, they're going to feed off of that same vibe that you put out there too. So the less stress and the calm and you're on top of it is always going to help you get more business as well. And I think too, similar to what we talked about in my industry, it's just consistency. So they're doing their prospecting calls, they're doing their follow-ups, they're asking for the business, they're thinking about everybody in their circle as somebody they can help. So they're looking for opportunities everywhere, not just, I got to go get realtor business or I'm going to work on this niche product. They're thinking about, hey, I'm a soccer mom. I'm talking to all these soccer moms. I overheard somebody talking about this necessity, and oh my gosh, do they know I'm a loan officer? Let me go tell them about this. So they're looking at building their business at all levels all the time. So the best of the best that I see as an outsider looking in, they're not freaking out on every file. They're not asking for rushes. They're not stressing out at month end because they are always working on their business. They are always setting their expectations. They're not worried about that month-end stress because their pipelines are always full because they're doing all of the basics, all the fundamentals to, consistently.
Yeah. I mean, really, what's amazing, what you just shared, I mean, these are things that we know to be true. There's no secrets there. There's no magic bullet there. It really is just attention to detail on the little things, the things we all know that you got to do. Top performers just seem to do those really, really well and habitually. And I know you do that. We highlighted that at the beginning of today's call. Hey, look, this has been unbelievable. We're going to have to wrap because I've already kept you on too long. So is there anything that maybe we've missed today that you want to make sure that we covered before we close?
I think the most important thing to mention is what we have hit on over and over again throughout this call, and it is that consistency and staying positive. It's a crazy industry, but it's our part of that industry isn't crazier than anybody else's. So if we can stay consistent and stay positive, we're going to earn that business.
Very well said. Kelli, thank you so much for being on the call today. I know this is going to be high value for those that are going to be listening, and I know they will too, really appreciate the time that you put into being with me today.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, you bet.
Having me on.
Yeah, you bet. Well, hey, this is Jay with Press On. Thank you for listening to today's call, and have a great day.